Number 1. The Iron Curtain Files. There are archives we were never meant to see. Sealed vaults beneath government buildings. Dust-covered folders stamped with the word, top secret. In the Cold War, when the world balanced on the edge of nuclear annihilation, there were inventions and experiments carried out by the Soviet Union that went far beyond weapons and rockets. They pursued not only the domination of the skies, but of the human mind, of death itself, of forces no science could fully command. What you are about to hear has been pieced together from fragments, declassified documents smuggled to the West, whispered testimonies from defectors, photographs retrieved before they were burned. History records the victories, the parades, the smiling cosmonauts. But buried in forgotten bunkers and erased laboratories are other stories, ones never meant for daylight. And every one of them begins the same way, with the sound of a locked file drawer sliding open. Number 2. The Sleep Deprivation Experiment. The year was 1943. In the depths of World War II, the Soviet military faced an impossible demand: soldiers who could fight without rest. A secret chamber was built in a classified facility near Moscow. A sealed steel room with glass portholes, microphones, and a steady supply of air. Inside it, 5 political prisoners. Their sentence commuted in exchange for participation. What they weren't told was that the experiment had no intention of letting them leave. The goal was simple: keep them awake. Days stretched into nights as a stimulant gas was pumped into the room, designed to suppress sleep. At first, the men sang, laughed, told stories. But within days, their voices turned to whispers. Then came the pacing, the paranoia, the arguments that escalated to violence. According to the recovered transcript, microphones picked up fragments of muttered speech, asterisk, they are watching. The shadows behind the glass, asterisk, by the second week, silence fell. Guards reported seeing the prisoners huddled in corners, their lips moving but no sound escaping. When the chamber was finally opened, the official reports were destroyed. Only a surviving doctor's notes remain, retrieved decades later. They begged us not to let them sleep. They said dreams were not theirs anymore. The sleep deprivation experiment was denied by Soviet authorities. But fragments of testimony and photographs of that chamber's steel walls, clawed from the inside, tell a darker truth. Number 3. The radio mind experiments. The Cold War wasn't only fought with missiles, it was fought with frequencies. By the 1950s, Soviet scientists were pouring resources into what they called psychotronic research ***. The idea was simple: what if human thought could be influenced remotely? At secret institutes in Leningrad and Moscow, they built machines with antennae stretching like skeletal arms designed to emit low-frequency radio waves. Volunteers sat in soundproof rooms while these frequencies bathed them. Officially, the goal was communication, telepathy enhanced by technology, but the reports tell a different story. One subject described a voice entering his head. It wasn't his own. It spoke in broken fragments, **, open the door. You are not safe. **. Others reported waves of nausea, overwhelming fear, hallucinations of insects crawling across their skin. Some broke down completely, their minds unraveling into permanent psychosis. The KGB saw potential. Imagine soldiers compelled by voices only they could hear. Imagine crowds pacified by frequencies that induced calm, or riots provoked by invisible agitation. But the technology was unstable. In one experiment, frequencies broadcast across an entire military base led to dozens of men collapsing in seizures. The project was buried. The documents stamped with a single word, ***, failure, ***. Yet defectors later claimed fragments of this research were never abandoned. They simply went deeper underground. And some whisper that even today, certain frequencies echo through the air, unheard but not unfelt. Number 4. The Resurrection Dog Tests. The 1940s. A laboratory hidden behind locked doors in Moscow. Black and white footage exists, shown once at a secret medical conference, then locked away. It shows a severed dog's head, tubes running from its neck into a machine, electrodes wired to twitching muscles. The head's eyes blink, its tongue lolls. A bell is rung beside its ear, and its mouth attempts to bark. This was the work of Soviet scientist Sergei Bryukhanenko, creator of the autoinjector, a crude heart-lung machine. His aim was noble, on paper, to preserve organs, to pioneer surgery, but the experiments crossed into horror. Witnesses described entire dogs drained of blood, then revived hours later with the machine. Some staggered to their feet, unsteady, alive but wrong. Their movements sluggish, their eyes vacant, as if something essential never returned. The film reels were supposed to prove Soviet superiority in science. Instead, those who saw them reported nightmares, insisting the animals were not truly alive but trapped in some liminal state. Whispers spread that the research did not end with animals, that condemned prisoners were once connected to similar machines, their consciousness flickering in and out, screaming when their vocal cords could no longer produce sound. The official history hails Bryukhanenko as a pioneer of open-heart surgery. The unofficial history hides the testimonies of nurses who swore they heard barking in empty corridors long after the machines were dismantled. Number 5. The Kishtim Incident. -1, 1957, the town of Kishtim, deep in the Urals. No warning, no sirens. Just a blinding flash of light as a nuclear waste facility exploded, scattering radioactive dust across hundreds of kilometers. The Soviet Union kept it secret. Entire villages evacuated in silence, maps redrawn to erase contaminated regions. But what was covered up were the reports from those left behind. Farmers who returned to their fields despite the danger, children who played in glowing dust, and the strange illnesses that followed. Doctors described patients whose skin sloughed away like wet paper. But there were other, stranger accounts, whispered by soldiers sent to patrol the zone. Shadows seen moving in forests where no people lived. Figures that glowed faintly at night, silent and still. One soldier's testimony, smuggled years later, reads, "We thought it was a man, but when the searchlight hit, it was empty. A shape burned into air itself." The Kishtim disaster was eventually admitted by the Soviet Union years after Chernobyl overshadowed it. But those who lived near the zone spoke of the glowing ones long after. Officially, radiation sickness. Unofficially, something else. Something that remained when flesh decayed. Number 6. The cosmonaut experiments. The space race was about glory. First man in orbit. First woman. First steps beyond Earth. But for every cosmonaut who returned a hero, there were those who never returned at all. Western intelligence intercepted transmissions. Italian radio operators claimed to hear voices, desperate, panicked, fading into static. A woman crying, *it's too hot. Too fast, I can't breathe, before silence. The Soviet Union denied it, but declassified files hint at darker truths. In the early 1960s, test cosmonauts were launched in capsules not designed to return. Their role, to gather data, to test survival in extremes. They knew, before the hatch sealed, that they would never come home. One file, partially burned, describes telemetry from a capsule that circled Earth 30 times before systems failed. The cosmonauts' heartbeat slowed but never stopped. For hours after life signs should have ceased, the signal persisted. Weak, irregular, but present. Scientists argued it was interference. Others whispered the capsule itself had become a kind of coffin orbiting the Earth, carrying not just a body, but something else. To this day, amateur astronomers claim to detect faint signals, voices buried in static, from derelict satellites that should be silent. Number 7. The Black Book of the KGB. Among the strangest files ever whispered of is a document nicknamed *The Black Book*, a collection of reports compiled by the KGB in the 1960s and 70s dealing not with science but with the occult, parapsychology, remote viewing, attempts to weaponize the human soul. In Leningrad, sensitive individuals were placed in sealed rooms, asked to describe photographs hidden miles away. In Siberia, shamans were detained, their rituals observed, dissected, imitated. But deeper files speak of experiments that merged ritual with technology. Machines built not just to measure the brain, but to amplify it.